Yeah, I do think it can be played offlane. I think I was looking at last time Execration played it, they did actually play it in the offlane, so I think that's a possibility. I think the safe lane Dawnbreaker that we saw like Spirit bust out once or twice at like TI and stuff, I don't think that's really a thing. The hero just doesn't scale well enough with farm, like especially safe lane farm. But I think getting like some offlane type items kind of suits. And yeah, they pick up another support. So I think this is going to be offlane Dawnbreaker.
Hell yeah. Maybe they want to match it against like Bane, like say, yeah, you're a strong 5 support, but now we have a strong offlane hero that can like kill you and murder. Also, I was just thinking, seeing as we're talking about SMG, the Tiny could just go anywhere. Could be played as a like Alpha's so good at that stuff. Yeah, it could be a Raging Potato Tiny. Like it has no guarantee whatsoever that this is a carry.
He could be the coddle, you know.
Hell yeah, dude, give it to me now. I want it.
Some Dagon coddle. Let's go.
I want Bane off lane with like. Oh wait, no, his Ags doesn't do the cool thing it used to do anymore. I miss old Bane Ags.
Living in the past.
Yeah, just. Nostalgia, you know what I mean?
Staring off into the distance.
Yeah. I just have no way to read SMG's drafts anymore because they're so weird with where they put things.
100%. We all think it's going in one direction. All of a sudden, their last pick's like, hold on. That's not the direction I thought it was.
One Direction, another bout of nostalgia.
I wish it was that one direction they were going.
Dude, I wish this Snapfire was mid.
I was about to ask you that. Is that still a viable thing? Because we saw it, the Snapfire Ember matchup in the past.
Yep.
Do you still value that?
I think it's probably still fine. I don't think she got messed over that badly. I think there was like very minor nerfs in the patch. I think she's still viable. It was mostly like, you have to now buy the shard and get the talent for the scatter blast damage to do as much as it was doing before, because I think you could kind of skimp by on like one or the other and still have like high impact with her or high damage with that. But yeah, now I think you need both to reach the previous values. And if I recall correctly, in the it was regional finals, wasn't it? SMG Boom, where Moon was playing mid Snapfire against Yopaj. I feel like they did that and lost.
Yeah, so the only person I've seen make that mid Snapfire versus Ember work really well is Yopaj at the end of the day. And then other teams, it was either Carl or it was Moon who tried to do it, and he went even in lane, and then the hero was like, you can't go even in lane as mid Snapfire. Like, you have to crush your lane.
I'm fairly confident it was Moon.
Okay. Because yeah, when Yopaj was doing, I think Yopaj did against Carl, I want to say, and he went like 20-3 and just owned the game. And even then, it was got a little shaky where it was like, it felt like they might come back because Snapfire as a mid does kind of have that point where you fall off. So.
Yeah, Yopaj is just the best. What can you do, guys?
Yeah, I don't think any mid player can just be like, okay, let's do mid Snapfire because it owns Ember. I think you need to have played that, like, you know, you need to be that special mid player who's played that matchup and knows exactly how to crush it, because otherwise you're not getting value out of the hero mid.
Or you can just say YOLO, just throw it, run it.
There's two things. You either know the intricacies or you say, hey, this might work, let's just try it. Well, let's give it a go.
Oh, man. Man, one of my favorite things Moon played last season was mid Mirana. I was so excited for that at the beginning of the season. I was like, he plays it, he's been pubbing with it, hype, and then he picked it, and I lost my mind, and it went well, and they won with it, and then he like never played it again. Like, what the hell, man?
It's like, yeah, I showed its capabilities, and that's it. Lena, we talked about her. She's come out for SMG. Does it throw a spanner in the works where you think this draft was going?
She's just a really good matchup to Medusa because of the range of her attacks. She's able to like go toe to toe with Medusa, kind of.
Yeah. She's off. Yeah, if Medusa's hitting other heroes, the split shot's not normally coming to you. And none of these other heroes jump on Lena particularly well. Like, you know, maybe at some point the Dawnbreaker gets like a blink to try catch on the back lines, but I don't really feel like Lena's being threatened by anything at this point. So, you know, Execration with their last pick probably have to pick some mid that either answers Lena in lane or just in the game as a whole. Like, you know, the spirit type heroes that can jump the back line, maybe like the direction they need to go here.
Is that in their repertoire sheet?
Yeah, probably. They can play every hero in the game. They're the best team ever. No,
hey, they play Meepo.
That's true. Yeah, I hate that here. Don't say his name. Don't say his name. All right, if I'm Execration right now, I'm just gonna like run it. I'm just gonna like double down. No, I'm double downing. I'm just gonna like walk as like a 5-man unit with my Medusa, because if SMG tries to go on you, you just use Dawnbreaker roll, and I feel like your Medusa just can't die. So that's probably like gotta be their game plan, no?
Offlane Ember, by the way. I mean, we didn't even. When
Let's
the Lina came
go!
out, like, it was like, oh yeah, Moon Lina, this makes sense. But like, actually, yeah, of course. Like, Ember was, you know, on paper the mid laner.
It's not. It is not the mid lane.
I mean, I thought it was gonna be like offlane Tiny more than I thought it was gonna be offlane Ember. But what can you do?
What's the combo? Cuddle Ember.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, I don't know if that's the combo we're looking for. A combo I do like to look forward to is Mike and John, as they are going to be joining us again, and I want to know their thoughts on seeing SMG's lineup now. If you want to start, Mike.
Man, my pubs are ruined. I don't know what Raging Potato is trying to do here with this offlane Ember and offlane Gyro garbage, but I'm really afraid right now. I'm going to be rooting for Execration this game around because God knows I can't afford to lose any more MMR. So Execration, please, you've got to win this one. No offlane Ember in my pubs, please.
You know, I've actually seen Roger was running pause 5 Ember last time I saw him streaming, so I actually have confidence in the offlane Ember somehow. If they made Gyrocopter work, Ember is a lot better in that lane.
Well, I asked the question then, do you two here have faith in the offlane Ember? Yes, no?
I think their draft as a whole, and I think they're as a team they've just looked better, whereas Execration is still adjusting to the roster changes. So I would favor SMG.
This is definitely wacky, but there's a chance. I think Execration has an easier to execute lineup. For sure.
Well, I'm going to say you think it's a yes. So Mike and John, please take it away and let us know if you do lose any more MMR.
Thank you very much, Nat. It is MLP johnxfire. John, what's happening, John? Well, why do they keep doing this? Offlane Gyro, offlane Ember. Can they not just play some tanky offlane with a stun? Is that not possible for it? No.
No.
All
I mean,
right.
this is an SMG's blood. If you get into SMG, you just run weird stuff on your roll. Like Roger, again, he used to run Bloodseeker, he used to run Tidehunter on the 5. He's running Ember pause 5 in his pubs right now, as I saw last night, and it's actually not that bad. It actually isn't that bad. Like this hero gives you a lot, and you have that great lane. You've got Coddle Ember already, so it's a winning lane. You know, it's just really aggressive early on. You can look for weird, cheeky plays like, say, chains into Illuminates one way to have a lot of damage in that lane. I mean, the Deuce still has a great time because you just play with Mystic Snake from a mile away. So I don't know if you can really apply that pressure, but I like the theory, Mike. You know, this is pretty good Dota theory here.
To be fair, though, Jonathan, usually your theories are just revolving around circles, so do not take johnxfire's words seriously. He has no idea what he's talking about. As Tino is going to rush up on that Dawnbreaker, and this is one thing you can do, is get very aggressive with this hero with the Starbreaker. Ninja Boogie, though, does avoid the stun, but he's taking so much damage as he does get taken down for first blood. Though, can Tino get out? It doesn't seem like it. Arthur will be able to take the trade, but first blood to go the way of Execration must feel pretty damn good.
It's pretty nice to have. It does go onto Shank, so it's not the best here to pick up first blood. But that farm acceleration is still good. The EXP you get is pretty nice. And you're going to be able to at least get some early items up on that lane. We'll see how much they can get out. This is still a strong lane for Execration on the off lane. Right, you have double stuns. You can play around with the Starbreaker and the Earth Spike as we saw earlier. It's a melee matchup for Dawnbreaker, so it's not the worst. But Tiny's also fairly good in melee matchups. Can harass out really well. You do have the protection of Ninja Boogie, so you can kind of use them as that up. It's really aggressive for both sides. Level 3 is where it really should amp up, but even level 2 for Execration in particular feels pretty damn good here.
Yeah. Well, spot lane as well. Oh, never mind. Top lane a little bit. I mean, I want to talk about this Dawnbreaker pick, John, because I appreciate what Sheepo said in the panel where the Medusa feels like you can't die, right? Like you got Boat, you've got the Solar Guardian, you got this Medusa who's just going to get amplified and healed up and tanked up. Is this hero strong, though? Like, we never see Dawnbreaker really being picked up. And it's been the meta, rather not for the meta, but it's been available in Captain's mode for quite a while now.
Yeah, I think out of all the new heroes recently, this one probably got the most bumped down into CM. In comparison, like Marcy, if she doesn't get any more changes into CM, she still feels pretty strong. It's, ever since the debut of Dawnbreaker, it's just been having identity issues, right? Like we've seen it offlane, we've seen it in pause 4, pause 5 before, and can work, and there's that double stun again. By level 2, it's just really strong. Not much Ninja Boogie can do to trade back. I'm just not sure if that healing's gonna be big. It does feel like Solar Guardian healing isn't the biggest, especially pre-Ags and pre-Holy Locket. It's just not that much. So if you do have all this insane burst from SMG anyway with Lina Laguna, I think you still have enough to eat through a Medusa down the line.
Oh, they've got mid one, it seems, but no, not quite enough to take him down as the sick charges do come in clutch, and now Shanks is the one in trouble. Ninja Boogie, he won't keep chasing. Except the fact that he's just kind of happy with mid one surviving through that, and well, luckily for mid one, Tino did not have the mana for the Starbreaker to follow up. Otherwise, that probably would have been a dead Tiny. So we should have a look at the other lanes as well while we have a chance, John. How's this mid lane been going? I mean, Moon and Bob have been going at it together, and it is a Lena versus DK to be fair, so I expect this to be a very boring lane, but is there anything you can add to this lane, John? Any analysis? And excuse me, I did say DK rather than Kunkka. Kunkka versus Lena.
It still kind of plays like a DK matchup, right? It can be a bit more passive. Tidebringer allows you to trade with Lena, but Lena still has that superior range. I think the big thing is rune control. Kind of what you see with some of these matchups. It's really about control of the power rune. For Moon, it's going to be a little bit more important. Bob has XTP home. When it comes down to this lane, your support rotations on Execration feel a lot nicer with a Lion and a Snap, but you can't underestimate a good Illuminate coming out from off-boot. So there's potential from both sides, but you are seeing Moon pull ahead with his range advantage.
Top lane, mid one. Gonna end up getting me taken down here by Tino. Again, that combination proving to be very strong, as even bot lane now, Execration, just having so much pressure applied. They are going to be fine. Palos, he won't drop. Neither will Vincenzo. Again, that top lane, it seems just so dangerous because you cop the Earth Spike, and the combo damage you get with the Dawnbreaker, it does really stack up very early on in the laning stage. Sure, it drops off a bit later on, but during that lane, it's a very painful experience.
Yeah, and you're not the tankiest on Tiny in lane. You start with 0 armor until it grows up. So the right-click harassment coming through physical damage is just very valuable. You kind of have to watch yourself there on mid one. A bit of a slower start for him in that lane. Palace definitely having the better time on that bot lane. You are seeing him build up. It's as we said. You do have that combination with a Keeper of the Light in the off lane here, but it's not really something that harasses out a Medusa too well. You have to gap close. She can always just play with Mystic Snake, and there's not much pressure. Did they even go for the chains build-up? Yeah, they did go for at least a value point in chains. So they do have that small play of chains into Illuminate, but Medusa doesn't really mind that too much. And of course, there is some turning points there with Vincenzo. He can always jump in with a cookie if the Ember overextends, burst down with Scatter Blast, no Flame Guard to protect. So it's not like you can go all in here on the side of SMG for the aggression.
Certainly not, as we do have the go-ahead now. Hopefully the headset issues are resolved. Even a meet-up here at the top lane between Shanks and Ninja Boogie, but he's going to trade a few hits, nothing too special. They're just going to wrap around Ninja Boogie, though. Going to go for a bit of a nightmare, but there's no follow-up here for the Lion. So he should be just fine. To be able to get himself out, though, Ninja Boogie will keep chasing him down. Well, bottom lane, looks like there was a bit of action going on, but now Ninja Boogie's in trouble top lane again. Uh-oh, he went a bit too far, and Shanks will be able to punish him thanks to Tino's rotation. So he got a lot of damage off John, but it costs him his own life.
Yep, not worth it. Tino's already building up really nicely in this lane. Up there in the top tree in CS, already has a double bracer, so he's a lot harder to burst down. You have to remember, safe lane Tiny, usually no toss, usually puts Avalanche secondary to the tree grab, so you don't really have that burst to punish Tino if he overextends, and it's just a natural double stun lane. It's always pretty nice once you have that opening.
Here we go again. Toss is up. Mid one trying to go after Shanks. Will cancel the Starbreaker with the Avalanche, but you've got Tino, who's still going to chase him down just a little bit longer, but it's not going to be enough to kill off the Tiny. Ninja Boogie will give the salve over to the Tiny to just give him that reset. I guess it's one of the things when you're doing Tiny versus Dawnbreaker. It's quite annoying because every time the Avalanche is available, the Starbreaker just is not going to complete the animation. It does make it quite hard for the Dawnbreaker to actually get that damage up.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit tricky. You need to time yourself whenever you see the Avalanche committed to clear out the creep wave. Mid one's been a bit more disciplined to hold onto it as a defensive spell. And this is probably the most painful lane for SMG right now. They are going back and forth, they're finding some punishment, but it's not the quickest for our Tiny. You can see that CS, like, big differential. 20 to 8 compared to Palace at 35 to 8. Now, the offlane Ember is still finding something, but it's not finding pressure onto the Medusa for sure.
Caught out here on the Keeper of the Light, and that will be another kill. It's time to go back the way of Execration. A sort of rotation out from our Kunka to make sure that happens. It does feel like one of those games where it is important for Bob to get involved very early.
Yep. And he's had a bit of a slower mid, but he is getting the movement he needs. That does give Moon a lot of free space. He's top of the CS. He's had a great time. They are making moves happen top, though.
Yeah, this time, though, Nightmare will be out from Ninja Boogie, and that will mean they can't keep the chase up. Tino did actually have the Starbreaker off cooldown, but again, just didn't have the opportunity to get it out, thanks to Ninja Boogie. The lane is still proving to be very challenging here for this Tiny, and it might be one of those games where you kind of expect Moon to carry on that laner as, or mid one. It's going to take a bit of time for him to be able to catch up in terms of net worth now.
Yeah, I mean, the Tiny can still flash farm, but it's a hero that also waits for the shards to really get going. You can do without with a max level 3 grab and the avalanche to at least help out, but you will be behind Palas for quite a fair bit. And they get the good movement out here. Execration invading the sacks, clearing out, and they might find a kill on Ninja.
They should. X is there, and that should be more than enough, though. We do have a rotation out from Moon, who does have a double damage rune active, so he'll go after Shanks, he'll get rid of the Lion. Meanwhile, Tino will just TP up, and now Bob's been left alone. He'll throw the boat out to try and take him up a little bit, but the chains are there from Raging, and now with the Chakra Magic, they should have another coming any moment, but they won't even need it. Arfu to take the kill as Tino. He came in to try and help out, but he has just been another kill to go the way of SMG, as they will tip him immediately. And I suppose, John, that's another thing about Dawnbreaker, is sometimes that ulti really just adds more fuel to the fire.
Yeah, he didn't have mana earlier on. He uses a bit too late, doesn't manage to save Bob. You mentioned Bob using the boat to buff him up. He had to walk out of the boat. So he didn't get the rum buff, and if you did, you might have been able to get more value from that jump back in. You might have been able to rotate the rest of Execration back, but they lose out in a lot. SMG finds good punishment for that invasion into the jungle. You still worry about the Deuce getting more, and Execration is still playing aggressive top.
They're going to try into mid one. Torrent, though, is not going to be timed well with the X. Moon has rotated onto Shanks. They'll take down the Lion. Bob, he just has to retreat. He can't stick around to try and go for another Tidebringer cleave onto the Tiny. So it seems like there's just been a hell of a lot of focus here on mid one. But again, I think the person you're really worried about right now is Moon, who is at the top of the net worth board and is starting to get a little bit hot on this laner.
Found that initial spike. He's had a really good lane. He's ahead of the Medusa in farm, only margin. So for Execration, I think you're all right with this game. You're fine as long as Palas finds farm, as you tend to with a Medusa draft. Just have faith in your core. Issue is we've seen Execration in this position before. You know, it's not like Palas was too bad in the early game in farm last time around. And it just feels like the rest of the team needs to be able to find better engagements. You're at this point with Max Tidebringer, you should be able to melt these supports, and they might be able to find Ninja here.
Ninja Boogie was on a bit of a warding run and does get the wards out, but might be a little bit obvious now for Execration, so they should be able to get a D-ward on that high ground. We'll go ahead and get back to taking his stacks. Rest of SMG, just pretty chill right now, not too worried about trying to get any more aggression going, though. I suppose it is about that time to get back to the drawing board and keep that farm up. Though I think you've got to address Palos at some stage as well, right? On this Deucer. He has been left alone for quite a while now, and while he is still trailing behind Moon, he has been freely farming up, and eventually this could cause some issue for SMG.
Yeah, he's matching the Lena farm, well ahead of mid one, but I think you're still in a comfy position for SMG. Keeping it even is pretty good, Vincenzo.
Bot lane, gonna be dangerous again. The Solar Guardian, it's gonna come through, but it means nothing. And the heal numbers just aren't enough, in my opinion, for this hero. There's now Raging. We'll have a look around with the Sleight of Fist, see who's there. Does spot out Tino. They might even try to go for the dive in. Illuminate is going to fly right through Tino. He does have the raindrops to protect. They'll force more heroes to rotate down to try and help out, as Bob has shown up, and now they have caught out the Ember. Raging does cop the finger from Shanks. That'll be enough to take down this position 3 Ember Spirit. It's the rest of SMG. It might be just time to leave. Moon, he's being chased down, but he should be just fine. Although there is a Medusa, but the Fiend's Grip is there. Moon, he will try to turn around. They have bursted down the Lena, however, and they'll even find Ninja Boogie. So it looked like a decent start, as Vincenzo actually dies to the neutral creeps and now Raging. We'll try to go back in on Shanks. But Bob, Tino, they're looking to go forward. Mid one, a nice toss up onto Bob, but he's going after the Keeper of the Light. He could not care about this Tiny as Raging. He does find the Lion. He's on the run. Bob looking for one more Tidebringer hit. Will be able to get the range. An SMG. I mean, it wasn't the worst team fight, but it certainly wasn't the best either.
Oh, that was a dieback in Raging, so I'd say that's pretty rough. And your Ember is going to be a bit stalled out into that Spirit's Vessel build-up, and they don't manage to punish Palo. So you mentioned the Deuce pulling it. It is starting to happen now with that engagement. I think SMG, they are getting some good aggression out, but you might want to wait for a little bit more from your Tiny. You want to hook up with all 5 heroes, because it looks like Execration's ready to respond in a big way as well. And they just need to be able to have their pawns one join in. Maybe once the Echo Saber's up, you feel a lot more comfy. We do see mid one showing up bot now to take the farm that lane. And you are still building up on Moon. He doesn't have his full BKB up. Once that BKB is up, I don't think you have enough to handle Moon. Right? Your physical output on your Deuce is not big enough. Your Kunkka does pretty good hits with Tidebringer, but not enough to really completely melt Moon without the aid of the boat and Torrent. So I think SMG still has a really good point coming out for them. Still, Execration are going for the smoke play. Finger on cooldown, but they do have that boat ready.
Yeah, Execration looking for a target. Closest one nearby is going to be Moon, but he is rushing towards the other side of the map, so chances are you probably aren't going to find him. SMG group up for the bot tier 1 tower, and it looks like Execration will slowly chip away at the top tier 1. Let's go ahead for those objective trades. Neither side setting up for a defense.
Radiant's bottom tower has
Shanks still having a look around for a hero to pick off here, but isn't going to find the one he wanted. Now SMG, they've actually smoked up as 3, and they might be able to pick off this Lion. But no, they completely avoid him. They want a bigger target. Oh, Bob. He's that bigger target you want. The Kunkka being left behind in the dire jungle. Ninja Boogie with the Tumbler's Toy does break the gap. They do have that Solar Guardian. Bob, he will survive. In fact, now the turnaround is going to be there onto Ninja Boogie as Bob is still running. Meanwhile, Tino, he'll take care of the Bane with the finger. They'll have enough. SMG still trying to chase down this Kunkka, but he is perfectly fine. Instead, they'll have to settle for Shanks. They will miss out on the primary kill they really wanted. And I suppose in that instance, John, the Solar Guardian does save the day.
Yeah, they were committing on the tankiest hero on the side of Execration in that Kunkka. So you do get a little bit more value out from the healing. Tino, though.
Yeah, Tino trying to go for a power rune. Doesn't even find that, as Raging Potato will be the one to take it. He is still a pause 3 Dawnbreaker, so you definitely don't want to see that Dawnbreaker dying that easily.
No, it's a pretty nice kill for SMG to take, so that evens out their losses in that entire fight, and you should give them an opportunity to siege onto that mid-tier 1, evening out map control. You don't have the fastest push on hand, but you can keep that chase going.
Yeah, they're onto the Snapfire. Moon does not have the Light Strike array to throw out. Instead, Raging will keep the chase up. The Vincenzo is still alive, but with the earn out, he should slowly tick out. In fact, Ninja Boogie, he'll get rid of him. Could Execration punish anyone? Raging's still around. Looks like they are trying to chase down Arfu. Raging in the meantime is starting to fall quite low, but Bob is still on the chase with a nice X-Back. Slider Fist is there. Bob is not going to be able to land the boat. A nice juke out from Raging. That Chakra Magic coming in clutch again from Arfu. And they find nobody.
No, it's so hard to catch that Ember out. You really rely on mainly Shanks to get a good initiation in that hero. And that's going to require Blink from him. So without that instant Hex, relying solely on X is just nearly impossible. Especially since, again, as you mentioned, Chakra means you always have Slight Fist, you always have a way to dodge. And this just allows so much aggression from SMG to even out the map a little bit more. 11 to 11, 1k lead at 15.5. And you are still getting good farm on Palos. It's not nearly as big of a network lead as you'd want in that hero, though.
Vincenzo get run into here by Raging, and he does have that Chakra Magic again to refresh all the spells, and he's just going to go right in for another Snapfire kill. But no, the mech does actually save Vincenzo's life. In the meantime, Ninja Boogie has been caught out and towards the south. They've even got Raging Potato trapped up here by Tino, but he'll make a run. He'll be okay, and I believe so will Ninja Boogie. So nobody's dying quite yet. In fact, now Shanks dying. Mid one does come in on the Tiny and takes down the Lion.
They just managed to get that longer trade working out their way. Tried to commit onto Raging Potato. It's still a very slippery Ember. And again, they just keep their emphasis onto mid. We want that response to keep coming out here. They're buying time for mid one to keep farming. He does have his shard up. So he's feeling really good clearing out the jungle. And the issue now for Execration is that their big teamfight initiation feels a bit scattered. It feels like the best way they have to start a fight is Shanks jumping in with a Hexer spike, or maybe getting some like the Axe Shard on Tino and just having him go in with a Starbreaker stun. Without that shard, it feels pretty difficult. For the Dawnbreaker, he is going for a BKB instead, so just general spell immunity instead of just having it in the Starbreaker, which is nice. I just find it difficult for Execration to make these fights happen. Whereas for SMG, you've got the grip from a mile away with a Tumble Restore. You always have Raging Potato, who's just naturally going to jump in and out. It's much easier for SMG to play these skirmishes right now.
Do you think they're worried at all about Palos, though? I mean, again, Palos has been untouched on this Medusa. He's been involved in 1 kill this whole game. He's got 1 assist shot. SMG just continue to completely ignore him.
I don't think they're that worried. I think they know that they're fairly even in farm. Like, Palos just doesn't have an item lead on the Medusa. Like, it's nice he's number 1, but he doesn't have a huge advantage here in this game.
That's fair. Palos does now show up mid lane. They want to try and force the fight onto Moon, and Shanks, he's there with the X out and the Dawnbreaker Solar Guardian. They completely annihilate Moon. That's the stuff you love to see for Execration. Now even the X out on Raging, but it doesn't seem like they're confident in trying to follow up for another. I think you're happy with the Lina, and with that they'll rush for the Roshan pit. And Moon, he has no buyback to try and get back into this fight. So it seems like SMG, they might just have to let this one go for free, but they are going to smoke up, and they might just try. Raging on the front lines. We'll be able to get plenty of vision here with the Sleight of Fist, as he does look to back off. They have an X out onto the Ember, but again, he has another Sleight of Fist, but no, he doesn't get it off in time. He will be able to Remnant, though. And they are buying enough time for Moon to just respawn up slowly. So the Roshan will not go the way. In fact, mid one, a nice toss back onto Bob with the Fiend's Grip through the BKB. That is a really nice play from mid one. And suddenly the Roshan looks to go for SMG now.
And without the Kunkka, you don't have the boat, you don't have the Torrent. It's really difficult for Execration to come into this fight. You could try to make a play with Shanks with his Blink, but
they're going to try, but a big stun out into Shanks, who's about to drop, and looks like Raging will go right to the backside. Meanwhile, Ninja Boogie does drop. That's 1 dead, but there goes your line. Shanks is gone, and now Palos slowly getting dwindled away here by mid one, but no, never mind, it's the other way around. Mid one, he's still trying, but Tino with the Starbreaker does get rid of him, but now Palos, he's out of mana. He is still trying to man fight this one out, but it's probably not going to work out for him. Is Raging does move. Oh boy, Palos. He does end up killing off Moon just before he goes down. Raging Potato, though, he's the real carry. He'll find a triple kill on the Ember.
oh my god. You know, there was a little nightmare save from Ninja Bogey to keep Moon alive there. Moon was walking back. He loses his salve trying to walk in and out. He wanted that kill, Mike. He really wanted the last hit, but Palos got the right click before him. So punished for his greed, turning in and out of that fight. It still works out for SMG. They stall out the Roche. They manage to get the gold swing they want. They kill off the Dusa. They kill off all the big heroes. And it's just back to that point for Execration. All their fights revolve around Blink Hex, and we saw Shanks do that down mid, but Shanks...
Nightmare out. Ninja Boogie needs some help for this, so they are going to bring Moon in, but now with the Solar Guardian, Moon wants no part of this, and instead Tino will be the one to take the kill. The mid one has shown up on the Tiny, but he won't want to go for this by himself, so he will just escape. Maybe not. The patience game is here from SMG, but Execration, they have the numbers advantage, bringing more heroes up. Sultano is being targeted, it seems, as mid one. He's going to run right into him. Who are they aiming for, though? It looks like they will toss in Raging Potato to kill off Shanks. There goes your Lion. Tino, though, is still trying to chase down Arfu, as Vincenzo even joins the fray. A complete mess of a team fight thus far. But here comes the cavalry. Execration, they've got the backup, and they're going to aim right in for the Tiny with the Mortimer's Kisses. They should have him. Mid one, he's still trying to fight, but it's not going to be enough.
towers are fortified.
End up going down.
Radiant's middle tower is
Raging,
under
he will
attack.
escape with his life intact, and he actually finds himself another kill on this Ember, as he might even find a third. He's on to Tino now. Moon is there to try and help out, but a Starbreaker from Tino to turn around Moon. He is going to drop. Raging, how far do you want to go, sir? The X is there. The torrent does connect Tino. He's out, but maybe not. There is a Spirit Vessel there with the Sleight of Fist. Tino is still dying, and the Remnant, Raging Potato. He does get fingered down in the end, but he does at least get another kill.
Oh boy.
Dire's bottom tower
Nah,
is under
they
attack.
managed to back off in time. SMG, really unfortunate. That fight all broke out from trying to jump the line, and I believe Moon was trying to travel in. The Solar Guardian Pulse killed his creep, so they couldn't manage to get the backup. If they managed to kill that line first, I don't think that fight would have broken out anymore. Execration would have cut their losses right then, popped back off, and you wouldn't have SMG overextending. But they forced that issue anyway. Execration managing to drag SMG out and find the kills they need. You're starting to see that lead come out for Palos now. Like a while ago, it was just, you know, a few hundred gold. Now we're talking 2K. This is a faster Scotty coming out for Medusa. You're seeing damage issues coming out for Moon, as he doesn't really have much over.
It certainly doesn't. The Moon just not able to play that carry Lena style we're used to seeing. They are going to smoke up, but Execration, they
Radiant's
are looking
bottom
very
tower
strong
is
right
under
now.
attack.
Still missing a few spells, however. SMG, they'll break the smoke here with Ninja Boogie. Torrent will connect. Earth Spike is there to boot. They're trying to just keep him alive as the 4-star play is out. Ninja still running, but it's not going to be enough. Execration, they pick him off. And it seems like SMG have no choice but to back off and look for a better opportunity. Maybe bot lane is where it happens, John. Mid one. He's chasing down Tino. Let's find him. Double hit, but Tino does have the BKB TP away. You don't have the Bane Fiend's grip there to try and hold him down through the TP.
Just heads up play.
Dire are
You should
scanning.
back off, not wanting to bleed any more gold away here on Tino. Side of Execration are, it's a rather even second game right now. 20 to 20, 23 minutes in 2K lead for Execration. It's not much. It's a dead even game almost. And it feels like it could just flip
Jump
in.
in. Shanks, he had Raging, but the 4-star away is going to allow Raging to re-engage, though a big Mortimer's Kisses is out. Arthur in trouble. Does end up going down first, but the Fiend's grip now on Bob. No, he's going to let go of it. This is not the fight for SMG, but it certainly looks like the fight for Execration, as now Moon's been slowed up. He'll try to use the Shadow Amulet to juke this one out. Meanwhile, mid one, he'll go for the fight, but this Medusa is so tanky. They're getting through the mana eventually, but now with the Stone Gaze, they've got to run. Maybe they can turn around. They could try, as the buyback is there Raging. He's going to try and move in. The Medusa out of mana, but a big cookie out onto mid one. Here comes Raging Potato, though. He'll keep going. Moon with the right clicks. They've got Palos down. And somehow mid one is still alive. But they found Ninja Boogie, but they'll lose Tino, it seems. And eventually he will tick out, but he pops his BKB, still Raging. Again, the real carry for SMG just continues fighting on. Has the chains out on Bob. Does he have any remnants, though? Not quite. So Bob will make it out. A very messy engagement, John, and I can't actually tell which way that went.
It's rather even. Like, the gold swing is pretty even. It does work out for SMG. They did have to buy back on Raging Potato that fight. But again, the game is just dead even. 23 to 23, 1K lead for Execration. We are seeing that big tanky Dusa take its time and dying. I don't think that's going to be an issue once you have a source of crit on Midwin, or a source of crit on Moon as well. And then once the Silver Edges are up, this becomes a lot simpler. You're going to have Ags up on Raging soon, although Roche here.
Yeah, big boat out is going to connect onto Moon, and they just blow up the no. In fact, never mind the Nightmare. It saves the day. Ninja Boogie allowing Moon a second chance at life, as Shanks now is going to be targeted, and they do take down the Lion. It's a great Nightmare out from Ninja. They are back into the Roshan pit, but Bob is going to try and re-engage. X is out onto the Bane. He is still perfectly fine. Raging in the meantime, chaining them up, allowing the Roshan, and now SMG. They can go for the big dive out. Onto the Conquer. They'll take Bob down. Raging Potato on the front lines again. Onto Vincenzo. He'll find another. Maybe Pod 3 Ember is good, John.
Hey, what did I tell you at the start? You know, if you can make it look decent in Pause 5 with Roger, you can make it look decent on the
Radiant's
offlane with
top
Raging.
tower
You know,
is under
it's just a
attack.
here that's super flex. Roger was onto something, And, you know, he did come from this team before, so he's got that mindset, Mike. He's left that
Radiant's
mindset
top
in the
tower
team
has fallen.
to flex things out very hard. Raging having superb performance in this game. He's got his Ags up. This Ember is just on a roll. He's going to be in and out of these fights now very nicely. The combination with Kotal, we're seeing it really maximized because they were laning partners. And they're just set to play whatever they want now. They could jump again.
The fun part is he still plays it like an off-lane hero, right? Like he doesn't stand at the back spamming Slider Fist. He's always in the front. Always tanking damage, always taking spells. There's now SMG with a double damage rune on Moon. Would really like to get started, but Moon, he is actually going to go right past them. They have no sentries down. So he just sneaks right past onto the Lion. That'll be one down as Palos is going to stone gaze off on Raging. But he's perfectly fine as Palos continues to move forward. In the meantime, Boat is going to fly out onto Arfu, but he's fine. Mid one. Oh, there's a Fiend's Rip out. They've got Bob locked down, but the Solar Guardian, again, going to buy that space to allow the Kunkka to leave. Execration. They'll throw out the kisses onto Raging Potato, but he's still going to survive. Still the fight continues. Mid one. He's trying to go back in after Tino, but he's going to leave it at that. It's still a very, very close match between these two. There is going to be a 2k net worth advantage, though, for the side of SMG now.
Yeah, and it's just the back and forth between these teams is so crazy to watch. SMG again playing super aggressive. Execration kicking up their own aggression. And they are reaching this point where Palos is going to be hitting really hard. He's got a Crystallis up, just needs a full Daedalus if he wants, or a Silver Edge of his own. But we're seeing the crit come out as well on the side of SMG. Bob.
Back to Paul.
He's okay. Always had the X back. Big smoke though, Execration, who are they going to find? Mid one's a great target, but he does pop the Silver Edge. Just try to run, but they have the dust up. They've got the control surely to take down this Tiny. Mid one, he's gone a bit too far this time around. That's a very nice smoke out from Execration, just completely ignoring the mid lane. Just going right after the throat of SMG in the Tiny.
Big kill to get. Keep that win condition down. I mean, SMG has two win conditions, really, right? Like, Lina towards late game is good. So is your Tiny towards late game. You've both got Silver Edges up, so I don't think it's the biggest loss for SMG. That is allowing Tino, though, to maintain its lead. And that should open up an opportunity to push. The issue is you are trying to push against the Kotal. So your creep wave doesn't last for too long, and that makes it pretty tough for Execration to try and rip through. Backdoor will just kick in whenever they want, and they're cutting the waves really nicely here on SMG.
They are. So Execration, or at least Bob, having a look for a target. Wanted to go after Moon top lane, but he's going to walk out. In the meantime, though, Execration still trying to move in and catch themselves a target. In fact, no, they found Moon. Top lane, Hex is there. Shanks does lock him down. Tino trying for the Starbreaker, but it is not going to land. Instead, now BKBs have been forced out. Raging, he'll come in from the side to make sure he can zone them out. In fact, never mind, he's going right in. He's going right after somebody. Shanks was that somebody, but he will eventually back out of it.
Yep. Forced out the Solar Guardian, though, just to ensure the line doesn't die. You can see how much Execration prioritized Shanks' life. They really need that Blink Hex, Blink Earth Spike to get these fights going, because they don't have any other initiators, really. So they have to commit a lot. That's a pretty long cooldown to commit, a minute 10 where it's down, and that could give SMG an opening if they wanted to play. They know they can't just drag another hero into these fights. SMG is pretty scattered, though. They are keeping that top lane shoved in. Raging's just watching in case anyone does come back. They still have half a minute on the Aegis, so might just look to be a little bit more defensive now on SMG. Keep playing the farming game. And despite all that back and forth, SMG's lead is back to just 1k. Palos is still a big issue down the line.
That he is, John. That he certainly is. And with the Daedalus to come out, there it is. Palos now has the damage to really be able to stand his ground and keep that fight going. That's the thing. SMG's cause, they're just nowhere near at the point where they feel like they can confidently just fight one-on-one with this Dusa.
Like, look at Ninja Baby.
Yes.
He's about to hit his Ags. Like, he just saved up.
Boy.
Brown boots, nothing else. No Aetherlens, just Ags. He just wants that grip lower cooldown, and that's going to be really impactful. I mean, Ninja's had a pretty decent game in saves right now. He sacrificed himself, but this is still pretty good time. 30 minutes in, Brown boots, Ags, that sounds terrible, but this is a support that's died 10 times. So I like that from Ninja Boogie. Keen to see how much they can get out from it.
Never refuse.
You can see right now John Palos. Well, he's going to find Ninja Boogie. Raging, just going to leave the building. He'll let the Bane die. X is out onto the Ember, though he's going to try and juke out. Torrent, though, is going to land, but he does have the Glimmer Cape, so he'll be okay. So a nice little pick off there from Execration. And John, something else to keep note of is once Ninja Boogie hits the level 15 talent, that plus 5% Bean's Grip max mana drain makes it 10%. So that's a lot of mana drain against the Medusa, let me tell you.
Oh yeah, it's not going to feel good for Palos if he does get controlled up. Although
Oh, top lane. Yeah, this is really bad for SMG. Execration again, right on the money. Moon still going to BKB up and chase down this line, but Shanks is fine. Moon, where are you going, sir? Solar Guardian now out. He is not letting this lion tie. Moon, how well can you juke this one out? Not quite well enough, I don't think, as Shanks has found him. Raging, we'll still be able to find the lion, it seems. And we'll go after Tino, but has no chains out to cancel the TP. So another kill onto this mid laner. As Bob...
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, that's such a long TP. It was such a long TP. Raging. Gonna keep the chase up. Nice cookie there from Vincenzo. Raging Potato's not done though. He wants that mid Kunka and he will find the chains out. The boat will be forced, but Ninja Boogie, he has the Fiend Grip with the Aghanim Scepter. There's no cancelling this one. They'll trade with the life of Bob and they want more. Raging Potato's still looking for another target, but he cannot get in range of Vincenzo.
Man,
Still again,
Raging,
this Ember.
He's
This
done
Ember.
so much work. Oh yeah, he's just run around in and out. Offlane Ember, Mike, you looking forward to it in your pubs?
No, John. No, I'm not. But it is impressive. I mean, you've got to give the man props. He gives you those... He gives you those Chapoy vibes, doesn't he, John? Raging Potato? The way he plays his very versatile, aggressive style of heroes. You love to see it.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, the last tour for SMG, we weren't seeing all these weird picks for Raging too much in the off until regional finals. I remember distinctly his offlane Jakiro, and from then they've just gone everywhere with his offlane, which I love to see. This is great. You're right. This is very much like the Chapoy of the offlane for Raging Potato. You know, it's feeling that way, and this is fantastic. How do you stop this? Because he's also scaling up into the late game. He's going for a BKB. He could itemize for a right click when he does have the room to do so. And that's tree scaling heroes on SMG. Tiny, Lina, and Ember. Whereas for Execration, you could argue that Konka has a lot of room to scale. Of course, Medusa is a scaling hero, but the scaling on something like, say, Dawnbreaker isn't that big. We don't even see the Ags being built up by Tino here. It doesn't feel like the utility from Solar Guardian has been that big. He is doing good damage with Luminosity, especially since he's at 20 although.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the Fiend's Grip. There's no playing around here for Ninja Boogie. He'll go right in. And they'll have another kill on their hands, it seems, as Raging will take it for himself. Now 16, 4, and 10. I'm starting to really question who the mid laner is here, John. So, I mean, Moon's on 6, 5, and 13. Raging. I don't know how he's done it, but he's doing it.
Oh yeah, he's really putting in the work for SMG, and now they have a very clear lead at 6k. SMG looking for the smoke play. Roche is up. So if they find one more kill, this should open up Roshan for their side.
Well, Execration can't let that happen, John. They need this team fight victory, and they've got the high ground, but the problem is Raging again on the front lines is going to just break the smoke, realize exactly where they are, and SMG don't care. They go for the Roshan anyway. They're taking it very fast as well. Execration, I don't think they know about this. And they definitely don't, because it's been taken for free.
Yeah.
That's a big loss for Execration.
Really is. Free shard for Raging as well, so he's got the remnants now, dealing a little bit more damage. A free remnant out every time he gets a kill. He's just going to be jumping in and out way more often. That's a scary prospect. So much pressure on Shanks to really just get a good Hex off. The issue is, who do you jump? Right? Like, I think ideally now you just jump Raging Potato somehow, try to burst him down, but he has 3k HP with 20 armor. He is not dying that fast in these fights.
Big smoke up. Execration with the 4-man smoke gonna move in down towards that bot lane. Moon
under attack.
would be a great target to go after, but he does back off at the right time. Or has he? Maybe not quite, as the torrent is going to land with the Mortimer's Kisses, and Moon still dropping. Here we go again, Raging. He's here. They still have the Aegis with the secondary life. The rest of the cavalry coming in, trying to get there in time to help out Moon. He's dropping real fast, though, and it doesn't seem like he'll survive through this, though he's still going. Moon still trying to go for the man fight, but Tino, he's got the Solar Guardian, and they want more. Bob, he's out onto Ninja Boogie. Mid one, though, gonna rush in. Vincenzo and Shanks, they've been deleted. Palos is not dropping low, but everybody else around him is, as now Palos is out of mana once again, and it seems like SMG somehow are looking to turn this team fight, as here comes Raging Potato into the backside. They've got the Fiend's Grip. Palos is completely out of mana now, and he's easy pickings for this Ember Spirit, as Mid One and Raging, they get to work, and they completely wipe them out. Bob's the only one left, and not for long, John. He's gone.
What a set of fights coming out from both sides. It looked really bad for SMG at the start, but they just sneak it back in, get a couple of buybacks on your heroes, and now Hydra.
Raging, stop it. Stop it. Someone calm this man down. Calm him down. He's lost it, John. He's lost the plot.
It's in his name, Raging Potato. What do you expect? Him to be calm? No, Mike. He goes crazy.
He's angry, John. He's a very angry vegetable, as Vincenzo is going to drop. Chains out. Palos, how do you defend this? He's got no heroes around him, and they realize it. They'll make the jump in. Palos, he's been completely ignored. They're just going right after the Ancient. Raging's the only one that wants the Medusa kill, as they will finish off the game. SMG 2-0 the side of Execration, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but pos 3 Ember might be a thing. At least for Raging Potato. I mean, that was quite scary, I must admit.
Yeah, it definitely was. SMG, look at them, so calm when they finish out a game after playing like madmen in that game. A lot of back and forth. You know, Execration were finding some openings. SMG just managed to find that scaling. And I want to point out again, there's Ninja Bogey. He's got the shop buff. In the shop, yeah. Mike, that's where we thrive as Filipinos. He's getting buffed up there. He has a great performance showing up here in these matches. What can I say? Raging Patatas, man. He offlane Ember. There you go. If you play with Raji's stack, cost 5 Ember. Every single roll, apparently, that hero can work.
Well, Raging Potato, you keep the great Ember Spirit work up. In the meantime, I'm just going to uninstall Dota for the next 2 weeks and hopefully avoid all the pub games. Still, it is MLP Dota and johnxfire, and of course, we are going to head to a very short break. And after that break, we'll go back to our panel to explain why pos 3 Ember actually works. See you then.
That is an absolutely fantastic opening from SMG in this series. I mean, they take it 2-0, and you can't really fault them. They tried things you've probably never even thought of to do in your...
I've thought of them.
Oh, you have?
Oh, I've thought
really?
of it. Oh, I've thought of it, all right.
Well, then you were the perfect person to
yeah.
ask Sheep as to why it worked so well. I mean, Mike asked that question. Why did offlane Ember work so well?
Anything can work, a wise man once said.
Really?
Yes. If you can do this Ember Spirit in offlane pro games, that means that you, random viewer, you can play Pudge offlane in your pubs and win with it. I believe in you.
Wow, you're going to go ahead and do the opposite of everything we talked about.
I may have taken Mike's lead and just uninstalled Dota for a little while.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a little bit of case of that. I think a few more things are going to be tried in the offlane that, hey, apparently Sheep's thought of, but no one else has tried.
No, everyone's thought of it. Here's the thing. If you are a carry player or mid player, I guarantee you've queued into a pub doing roll queue where you've had to play support, offlane, whatever, and you thought, I'm just going to farm. I'm going to farm. I don't care about my team. And that's when you bring out the Ember offlane. I mean, here's the thing. Talking seriously, the reason that it works so well is because they drafted with it, like, it had a place in the game. They had the coddle with it. That in itself is a combo already. They're able to play together with these low cooldown spells thanks to the chakra, and just, you know, brawl and fight. And brawling is really effective against heroes like Dawnbreaker, especially in a core role, because really what she likes to do is just ult and stop like a single go. Like with a Tidehunter Ravage, for example. You Ravage, the Dawn ult comes down, suddenly your fight is nullified. But when there's just constant scrapping and brawling with Ember and Coddle, like, it's really hard to kind of stop that as a Dawn.
Is that also another reason why it works so well for SMG? It fit their style of constantly fighting, being scrappy, and not really giving Execration that space?
Absolutely. All of their heroes, there's not as like a single long cooldown. Like leaner, tinier heroes that aren't reliant on any like big long ulti cooldown. If you don't have Laguna, you don't really care. You'll still fight as a leaner. And then you look at Execration, and you've got these longer cooldown, the Dawnbreaker ulti, Kunkka Ghost Ship, Medusa, Stone Gaze, Morden's Kisses. They're looking to build this big team fight, kind of this, you know, the circles that John loves, where it's like we're going to put everything in this one location and fight underneath it. And what was happening on the SMG side is it was like this poke and prod, hit and run. Ember, you know, there was some fights that maybe didn't go their way, but that's just kind of what happens with these chaotic fights. And then, you know, Raging Potato would buy back, come back in, and those spells are on cooldown, and, you know, it'd make some plays happen. He was phenomenal on that offlane Ember.
Definitely. I mean, the other thing is, you talked about how Execration was so team fight heavy. There were times that they were just dumping everything on the Lina, right? It was pretty much everything except for 1 or 2 ults that were going on top of the Lina at times. And it's like, great, you got the Lina, but now you got the other 4 that you have to deal with. So it's probably the first time in a while we've seen the Medusa lose as well. I mean, you guys would know a little bit better than me, but it's been on a pretty good hot streak at the moment.
Yeah, and it went late. It wasn't like it got ran over in the early to mid game. They managed to drag it out. I think if there was a few times where the Lina just kind of pushed a bit too far forward, got a bit overconfident almost. Like there was one fight where they just like went into the enemy triangle and things just did not go well at all for them.
Sheep, do you think there was any potential at all for Execration? Do you think there was a light at the end of the tunnel for them to come out on top for game number 2?
Oh, 100%. Okay. I mean, if we look at the scores of the game, it really was just Raging Potato taking the game away with this Ember Spirit. There's obviously ways to look back at this replay and say, yeah, we probably could have found a way to not feed 19 times into him, you know, like because the idea of their draft was not too bad. And I think using spells on Lina, maybe they identify that Lina is the biggest threat to their Medusa, so if they take her out, then she can shine. It's just rough when Ember is really taking the game away. If they had not died into him so much, maybe they can do their you know, game idea, their plan, their Medusa, walk in front, we have the team behind you, you can't die, you get the door and all it. They needed to be the ones in a commanding lead. I think that was the main issue. Okay. Because, you know, Ember was the one dictating the pace of the game. You want your team to be the one saying like, yeah, we're going to go take this objective, we're going to do this, Medusa's going to be here, she's going to be unkillable. And they didn't get there, sadly.
They didn't, but we were all very impressed with Raging at Potato's Ember Spirit, and luckily we do have him for the winners interview, so we can ask him a few more questions about it. Raging Potato, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to ask the obvious and say, how are you playing those heroes as position 3?
This is what we train for.
Okay.
Those heroes, and most of the time for my gameplay, I like buying spirit vessel. Then I just really want to be aggressive in most of the games.
Is there any hero you aren't willing to play as position 3?
I'm not really playing Mars.
Okay. So Mars is the position 3 you don't want to play.
Yeah.
Right. Alright. Do you don't have to tell us exactly who, but do you have like some more like spicy offlane heroes that you're going to be pulling out in the DPC that we haven't seen yet?
I don't know. It's just that I think any hero can work.
I like that. I want to ask quickly before you do. That, you know, SMG, you guys have always been known for your aggression, so do you think that this patch is a patch made for you guys in the team?
I don't really know because it's still early and we don't really have the time to explore each and every heroes yet.
Alrighty, I look forward to it.
It's early in the patch, but something that's also kind of just recently come back is Ninja Boogie. You played with him a while ago. How are you finding playing with Mike again?
In game, it's good. It still has a lot to catch up in terms of personal skills. Yeah, but we'll get there eventually, hopefully.
And okay, yeah, okay. Thinking about the new patch, you said there's a lot to be figured out. Is there like any hero that you think is like not good still, but you wish was better in the new patch?
I can't really think of any hero.
Fair enough.
Look, we threw some curveball questions at your Raging Potato, but thank you so much for the interview, and congratulations again on winning your opening series.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
See ya. He didn't do the wave. I'm so disappointed.
It's okay, I'll wave you, Nat.
But we're not saying goodbye to you just yet, Sheep. Oh, you did?
He came back.
Oh, now I feel really bad. I said he didn't do it, and then they brought him back to do it, and I wasn't watching. I wasn't ready.
It's okay, you were looking at me instead.
The better thing to look at. But we're not saying goodbye to you just yet, Sheep. We do have a few more things that we're going to run through here. I do want to look at the Division 1 standings, and it's looking quite nice. Again, we've only had 3 series for Division 1, so there's not too much to, I guess, analyze when we look at these standings, but do they shock you at all, the teams that have won the 3 series we've watched?
Not at all. This is, I think, what most everyone expected to happen. It would have been nice to see upsets with the bottom or the losers so far, but I'd say Neon is probably the standout of like doing better than anyone could have expected, like taking a game even. Very cool.
Yeah, I thought Neon as a new team with players who had no like real rich competitive Dota history were going to struggle a lot and be one of the, potentially bottom teams, but the fact they took Game of Fnatic is promising, at least something to work off of. And Execration and GX, like they're teams that, I think can take games off most of these teams here. Maybe not Boom, maybe not T1, but I think those teams are still going to, they're going to be trying to fight their way back in. They're not out of anything yet.
Yeah, we say that it's probably not shocking the ones that have won the series, but the thing is we haven't seen what a lot of people would call the top dogs of this region. So
Boom.
There is still plenty to look forward to. And I mean, you speak of
Give me Boom.
And luckily we're going to have a look at our upcoming schedule. There will be a few days break before it. And on Saturday, we will finally be seeing Boom. Everything Sheep is here for. She's like, I'm only going to cast SE8 if I see Boom in the first week. And
I'm not even going to commentate any of the other players. I'm just going to only say what Yopaj is doing all times of the game.
Yeah, we're going to be sitting here and be like, Yopaj. So I'm not even going to ask you which game you're looking forward to, Sheep. Instead, I'm only going to ask you, Gods, which game out of those 3 is looking like the best one for Saturday?
I think that middle one may be the most competitive. Apes versus Army Geniuses could be pretty close as well. But T1 Polaris, considering the form Polaris is in right now, they look scary. And T1, they had that slight roster change. Yeah, they did well in regional finals, playing with Gabby, but they're not a team that I think you just necessarily expect to breeze through this online tour, because last time they hit a few road bumps. They lost games to OB Neon. T1 are not like this flawless team that just crush everyone beneath them.
It's happened in other regions before. We see a team come out from Division 2 or that lower division and actually plays quite highly, so I have some pretty high hopes for Polaris. They were definitely in that really high form, and it's going to be very interesting when we do finally get to those games. But do you guys have any closing thoughts that you have about what we did see today out of Little Gun, Talon, I've already forgotten, Execration, and SMG?
I thought it was really fun watching lower div. Obviously, we didn't get to cover it last season, so it was great covering it this season. I think Talon looked fantastic. I very much think that they will probably get to Div 1 next season, and I can't wait to see how they stack up there.
I know, we're calling it early, but hey, maybe it is going to be Talon.
They look beautiful.
They do.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with Div 2 too, but also just seeing some of these new rosters, because there is a lot of new question marks around SMG as well as Execration, how they're going to do with the 3 new players. Obviously, so far not looking great for Execration, but I think they have got some talent there, and they can definitely kind of make a bounce back.
She's having a little dance.
I love standing up. The couch restricts me. I'm free.
This is everything Sheep is looking forward to. But hopefully you guys are looking forward to some more Southeast Asia action, as we will see you in a few days' time for that. Thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully you enjoyed the games.